coming up very shortly, I can announce.
Oh,
and
good. Well, stay there, Professor. We've got Niels Harrit, professor at the Department of Chemistry, University of Copenhagen for 37 years, joining us. Quick break. That was a short segment. I'll come back with you, sir, talk about whatever you wish. But what is the establishment going to do as it comes out that those towers were blown sky high? Now, what's going to happen? Where's all this going? Stay with us.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
You already know that drinking pure, high-alkaline pH water is the most important factor.
All right. Huge new developments on the flu front coming up when our guest leaves us here in a few minutes. But Niels Harrit, a professor over in the Netherlands, my parents' favorite place to visit, by the way, in Europe. I've never been there, but I've got to get over there sometime over there with all the great folks. But okay, Professor, I mean, in closing, where would you like to see this investigation go now? Because there's other scientists, other engineers doing the same studies, finding the same thing over and over again. No way this should have been there. You know, we originally had the thermite hypothesis by Stephen Jones because of the molten metal pouring out of the sides, because of the oxidization, the sulfidation of the steel. Then he found the little metal spheres that had the exact makeup of a thermite reaction. And then he tested thermate that had that reaction. And now you've done separate studies. As more and more of this comes out and then it gets peer-reviewed, what is the establishment going to do?
Well, hopefully we'll get the investigation we've all been asking for a long time. And I appreciate, of course, the news value of this investigation. But basically, we're just confirming what has been obvious for a long, long time. As some of us know, that the 3 skyscrapers in New York were demolished intentionally on September 11, 2001. And hopefully, or I'm sure, absolutely, I'm certain, I can feel it, that those who know this is growing by vast numbers every day, thousands of people every day. So when we reach critical mass, it will what you call it, provoke an investigation.
Unless, well, folks are waking up quicker to this than they did JFK. That took 20 years to get a majority. Now it's over 90% in the
we
average
can't wait for that. I
was about to say, go ahead.
We have to restore, first of all, the power of the press as an independent institution in our democracy. This is the most important thing, to restore the press. And before this is done, we cannot solve the even larger issues at hand.
I agree with you. I agree, Professor. Yeah. We've got to have the info war. We've got to have the alternative media and the people's voice to tell the truth to ever counter this. That's what we're trying to build here, and we're starting to win that fight. That's why Burmis just walked up and showed me 3 more hit pieces on me today. They are coming after us big time. So, folks, pray for us. We're in the thick of the storm here. And speaking of that, Professor, have you gotten any heat from the university or any threats from anybody for what you're doing?
No, not really. I mean, the situation with the university was settled almost a year ago in a situation where I actually had the opportunity to lay down the facts for my colleagues, and they respect that, of course. So no, that is not a problem, and no real threats, no harassment, and I have got, I don't know how many emails since this paper come up, and they are all supportive. It's so nice. Let me get this opportunity to whoever has sent me an email to thank him, because I cannot answer all of them, but they are 99% supportive.
Yeah, same here.
And this is fantastic. I can hardly have time to respond to all of it, and it's boiling in Europe, so I have to concentrate on what is happening around here. And
Professor,
it's really moving faster and faster. I can say that to everyone who's concerned about that.
Yes, Professor, I was about to say, what's your new area of investigation now that you have proven independently, as others have, scientifically, that it's a thermite? Where do we go from here?
There's still a lot of things for us to do on the chips. One thing is, as we mentioned in the start, we do not know if the thermite acts as what we call an incendiary, that is only by the action of heat, or if it's an explosive. I suppose that both varieties probably were in the towers. And please notice that we are not saying that the towers was brought down exclusively by thermite. All we're saying is the thermite is there. It's still very well possible that conventional explosives were used, in particular in the last stages. But to me, it's certain that thermite at least was used to weaken the steel structure, because you could see the molten steel pouring out of the South Tower minutes before it collapsed. And this is one action, possible action of thermite. And then there's a variety called thermate, which this guy, Jonathan Barnett from Worcester Technology Institute found in the FEMA report. So this is probably also there. In my anticipation, there could have been used a whole range of explosives and thermites for pulling down the towers. And as of yet, we cannot exclude anything. All we can say is that the thermite has been used there, and it shouldn't have been there. And those who put it there should tell us how and why it got there.
Absolutely. And then we have to investigate, not just from your scientific angle of what's in the residue, what's in the building. And you're not the only scientist who's had these findings. Now, quite a few are doing this. It's just you're very prestigious, and also at a prestigious university, and it's in Europe, so there's not as much demonization. They did try to destroy Stephen Jones, Kevin Ryan, and others. So they were kind of the icebreakers, too. They hit the ice first, and you're still in the vanguard right behind them. But
this kind of harassment, or what we call it personality killing around here, of course I'm subjected to that, but I really don't care. I mean, I've got grandchildren, 6 grandchildren, and I'm on their side in this business, and this is more important. And I'm too old to care for that.
That's a great feeling to know you're doing something for the right reasons and for the truth and for your progeny. And so many people are scared, and they're frozen in this feeling of fear. They're scared because they're not truly living and being honorable. And folks, when you just stop caring and say, look, I don't care. The chips fall where they may. I'm telling the truth, come hell or high water, and I'm committed, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, but I also understand those who stay quiet. I mean, they have bills to pay, and they have a career, very importantly. So we should not come down too hard on those who...
I agree with you, but if these terrorists aren't brought to justice, the same people that did this are still running things today. They're going to pull new scams. They're pulling a new one right now with this ridiculous bird flu hoax, pig flu hoax. And so they're going to launch more wars. We have got to... Look, Hitler, as you know, firebombed his own Reichstag, attacked Poland, saying they attacked his military base at Gleiwitz. We know that the U.S. government stages terror attacks. We know the Russians do it. The public has to be educated. I mean, I have Army Field Manual 2004, Professor, that's